What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Banks, coming at you live with another trade recap. Now, we caught meta puts for over 100% banger to start the week. Hit that retweet and like so you don't miss any of this educational content. So I can show you how to catch these trades, what to do to make you a profitable trader, because that's what it's all about. First, let's show it. Gave it to the team on Sunday. Main watch will be one more breakout fail with a short opportunity back into 586, 583 and 580. As you guys can see, this was yesterday. And then today took the put with the team, loading puts, got into the puts, and we came out with 100% plus banger. Shout out to the team for absolutely hammering this with me. But you came here for the trade recap to understand, why am I taking these trades? Well, the first thing that I want to go over, psychological levels. These are something that is not talked about a lot, but they're very useful, and you can see some pretty big moves either way. Now, when we're looking at the overall market, Meta is one of those that little bit overextended. It's also the only one in the Mag 7 that's breaking out into new highs. So we kind of have a little bit divergence there, right? We don't have any of the Mag 7 breaking out in new highs. We have Meta, though, on its own, really with no big news breaking out. It's a little bit overextended. Secondly, we're looking at that big psychological level at 600. You got to expect that when we're a little bit overextended, really the only name that's kind of pushing up is going to be Meta. 600, 600 psychological levels. You'll see them triple digit with the double zero. So 100, 200, 300. When we're below 100, you could be using 50, 60 with that big old zero at the end of the number. So I was looking into 600 as a big fail, because if you look back, you can see that psychological levels work. They're not going to work every single time. But again, like I said, with this overextension, with the only Mag 7 name breaking out into new highs, a little bit overextended, was looking for a decent pullback today, profit taking into that big psychological level. The second thing I was using was going to be called the MACD. And as a little indicator, what I was seeing was we are pushing below, right? So I like to use the hourly time frames. On this 1 hour, I was seeing that we were starting to come back down. Now we kind of use this when we push up. Over the MACD line, right, we can get some moves higher. And you can see that when we start to push down, we can get some selling. So on this hourly time frame, playing out very well. You can see we push up, we push higher, we push down. We are now selling back off. On this one, we have a big overextension. And before we even started the day, you can see we were already starting to cross to the downside. So any kind of, if you guys use EMAs where you have a lower number and a higher EMA, pushing down below or pushing up above, right, is going to be something that you can use to be either a little bit biased more to the downside or to the upside. Obviously, we're pushing back below it. This is going to be my little bearish bias that I had on Meta. So one, looking in the big psychological level fail at 600. Two, MACD giving me a little bit better confluence. And three, overall market, really the only Mag 7 that's pushing in a new highs, getting a little bit overextension. So looking for a decent pullback once we hit into that big psychological level at 600. Now you guys can see that, we did push above 600, but where did we hold below? One thing you guys got to keep in mind is if we never get a full break and hold over a level, that level is not secure. So this is how you prevent fake outs. Again, 600 was that big psychological level that we were looking at. You'd see the 5-minute time frame, we had no full break and hold candle over that level. What do I mean by that? I need a full body candle to hold over that level. And what I mean is the body of the candle, the wicks do not count. It's going to be the actual bodies of the candle, right? The open and close. So not the wicks, but just the body. 5-minute time frame didn't have it. 10-minute time frame didn't have it. You could see it was a nice big fake breakout. And we also don't have the market breaking out as well. So a couple confluences there that I was using to take the downside. Great. We enter into the trade, had that nice little false breakout. We enter below that 600 level. Now, how do we go from here? Well, we're going to look at some levels of interest to play to the downside. First of them being, let's look left. What was the last big level that we were seeing? It would be Friday's close at around 597. So 597 is something that we want to see break, right? For some continuation. Below that, it's going to be pre-market low. Kind of have a little bit of an anomaly here. But the big support level here was going to be around this 593.71. You guys can see it here. We found some support there. So that's going to be the bigger level. We have that anomaly level there below it. So we're not looking for price targets or looking for levels to break for continuation once I'm in a trade. All I do is I zoom out, I look left to see what was the most recent biggest either support, biggest resistance. Uh, the most recent, obviously, is going to be this big 597 level. Now, I know this is one of those trades where a lot of newer traders, you see the strength, it's pushing higher. You want to just FOMO into it, hammer it. But guys, you have to stay patient. Look for these things. Again, we had that big psychological level. The market's not breaking out. Mag 7's not breaking out. Massive push to the upside. You'll usually see this into big levels where we are pushing higher. Catch everybody off sides, get them to FOMO into the trade higher, and then push back down. Another thing we're not seeing in the market is big breakouts right now. We're kind of just stuck in a range. So big breakouts aren't really happening, especially in the beginning of the day. Why would today be any different, right? The pattern hasn't changed. And until that pattern changes and we see big breakouts with continuation at open in the market, then we can kind of give more trust to any kind of breakout that we see in the morning session. But again, we have not seen that. So all of these things put together is what I was looking at to take this trade. Great. Now, how do I stay in this trade as long as possible? So one thing that I like to use is going to be the 13 EMA. And let's change this to the 8 EMA as well. Great. So how I like to say in this trade is once we start trending down, you can use the 5-minute, you can use the 10-minute. Let's look in the 5-minute. Now that we're holding below, we're starting to break below. We broke below Friday's high. We can stay in this trade as long as we never really have a full break and hold above this level. So we have our level 597. We need to break above that. And then we want to stay below that 813 EMA. And as you guys can see here, we never had that full break and hold above Friday's high. We're also just riding this EMA all the way to the downside. So a very easy sit and hold once we're in a trade. We're obviously selling into runners. We're selling into strength, but we never broke back again Friday's high. We're holding below this 8 EMA. 13 is just an extra confluence added for extra padded protection, if you will. And now we could just ride this thing down. And all we did was get a nice little trend down back into our levels. And where do we push back into? We pushed right back into where we just broke out of. So is this not just a breakout and retest back into demand? Want to get more of that? There's more of these breakout and retest demand supply videos on the YouTube. So check that out. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Of course, if you want to join the team and start banking with us and learning to become a profitable trader daily, I am Mr. Banks. Do run Woes of Wealth. I will see you in there. And I'll end it on this, guys. I believe in you. Start to believe in yourselves. You guys got this. Take it one trade at a time. You'll be able to start seeing these things as you journal and get better and have more time in the market. Other than that, I love you guys. I will see you next time on another live trade recap.